moksha na moksha vadima na chanyam rineham parisarapiha idam te vaponata gopalabalam sangame manasyavi asamke O Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Dasakundalam Gokule Rajaman Ishwaram Olo Idam te mukam bojam Avyaktanila Pritam kuntalaika Rakchashchakobhya Mahusham vitamimma Raktadarame Manasya virastam Alalakshalai Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Dasakundalam Gokula Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Dasakundalam Gokula Namo Devata Dharananta Vishnu Prasira Prabodhuka Chalabhavti Magnam Kripa Dristi Vrisyati Dhanam Bhatanu Vihanesha Mahamyagyam Edakshati Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Dahalam Gokule Rajamana Kiviratma Jobada Murtyaiva Yadvan Swayami Chodo Bhakti Vajo Kritocha Tata Prema Bhakti Swakame Pracha Namokshe Gaho Mesti Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Dasakundalam Gokule Haribo Namamishwaram Sachirananda Rupam Dasakundalam Namaste Sudhamne Swaradipti Dhamne Hariyodarayata Vishwasyadane Namo Radhikaya Hariyapriyaya Namo Nantalilaya Namo Radhikaya Hariyapriyaya Namo Radhikaya Namo Radhikaya Tvadiyapriyaya Namo Radhikaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam Namo Nantalilaya Tubhyam Jaya Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Oh Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Rama, Jai Jai Radha Ramana, Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Jai Radha Ramana, Hari Bol, Jai Jai Radha Ramana, Hari Bol, Jai Jai Radha Ramana, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora, Haribo, Nitai Gora, Haribo, Nitai Gora, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora, Haribo, Nitai Gora, Haribo, Nitai Gora, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya. Nitai Gora, Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora, Haribo, Nitai Gora, Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gora, Haribo. Nitai Gora Premanande.
Agyanam timiran. Oh, wait. So, excuse me, what's your name?
Trish.
Trisha. Trishna. Trisha. Have you been here before? Yes.
No.
Not. Okay, so do you know anything about what happens here?
No.
How did you happen to come?
One of my meditation teachers told me to have art here.
Oh, art. Did they give you a tour of the art yet?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the arts that we do is called kirtan. Have you ever chanted the Hare Krishna mantra before?
Yes.
Okay, good. So today is the birthday anniversary of a great saint in our line who was here about 100 years ago. And so on this day, we glorify him because the spiritual, can I help you? The spiritual saints who come and go from this world, according to our teachers, our holy teachers, they're eternal beings, but they come and go from this world in order to bless us with their association. So on the anniversary of their appearance days, they're especially eager to give benediction on our spiritual path. So we glorify them. That's what we'll be doing first. And then we'll be reading from this book. You know who Krishna is, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we also, this is the month of Damodar. Damodar is the name of Krishna when he's a little boy. So we read from the pastimes about Damodar. And then he also blesses us with spiritual enlightenment by doing so. So that's what's happening. Okay. Is Vasanti here? Oh, okay. So his name is Sri Shrimad Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. And he once went to a city in India called Ambala to assist in setting up a spiritual education. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. First, before we do that, we call for the presence of our spiritual teachers in disciplic succession and our gods and goddesses so that they may be here. We call for their presence so that they will give all auspiciousness to the meeting for your benefit. Okay. Agyanam timirandasya Jnananjana salakaya Chaksurunmilitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Gurave Gaurachandra Radhikaya Todalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namah Yang Pravrajantam Manupetam Petakrityam Payano Virahaka Taruajuhav Putri Ditan Mayataya Taravo Banedos Tang Sarvabhutaridam Muni Manatosmi Bhaktya Vinay Aparada Lakshay Chaptasya Kamadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapadyam Brinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavoivasmi Najivamitam Vina Tapnayamam Charanantike Angashalmalim Chatab Abhito Mandi Kritendi Varam Jadyam Jagurarochis Bhagaratam Patambarasya Shriya Hridila Sattamabhiramodaram Radha Skanda Niveshito Jalabhajam Dhyayamadamodaram Kripayati Yadi Radha Padita Sheshabadha Kema Paravashishtam Pushti Maryadayorme Yadi Vadati Chakinship Smeraha Soditasri Dvijavaramani Panktya Mukti Shuktya Tadakim Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekhar Smeraha Samurali Manohara Radhikara Sikamam Kripaniti Swapriya Charana Kinkarika Prananatha Vrishabhanu Nandini Sri Mukhabjara Salola Satapada Radhika Paratale Kritastitam Tam Bhajami Rasikendra Shekhara Samvidaya Dashane Trinam Bibo Prartaye Brajamahendra Nandana Astu Mohan Tavati Balava Janma Janmani Isvari Priya. First, I offer my unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful, initiating spiritual master, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Asto to the Sat Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the same unlimited obeisances in the dust of the lotus feet of my most worshipful, Shiksha Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Asto to the Sat Shri Srimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, to our grandfather Guru Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, to all of his divine associates, and to all the assembled devotees, and the assembled devotees, Diksha Gurus who are my Shiksha Gurus, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta, Madhav Maharaj, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta, Ban Maharaj, and Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Siddhanti Maharaj. Jai. So, Trisha, did I say that right? Okay, so there's going to be a lot of names that you're not familiar with. So just to let you know that because these are all pure souls, just by hearing about them, even if we don't, gradually we'll know a little bit of who they are in here. But whatever you don't know, just by hearing the transcendental sound vibration of their name, we make spiritual benefit. Like you can know that fire burns, and you cannot know that fire burns. But if you touch it, either way you'll get benefit. Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and my own guru, then known as Hayagriva Brahmachari, once preached in the city of Madras. At that time, a debate between Dr. Radhakrishnan, he's a previous president of India, who, contrary to his name, was a strong proponent of the school of Advaitavad, or non-duality, those people who think that God is not a person, but he's like an unlimited light without any qualities. And Dr. Nagaraj, who, contrary to his name, was a firm promoter of Dvaitavad, or duality, that God is a person, we're people, and we're parts and parcels of him. So the debate was published in the English daily paper, The Hindu, in the form of a series of articles. Through these articles, both men put forth arguments in favor of their respective faiths, while refuting the other's arguments. This continued for some time, until the personalists and impersonalists of Madras decided to actually organize a debate between the two men under the chairmanship of a representative from the Gaudiya Math. Gaudiya Math is the lineage that we come from. Whatever conclusion the chairman would reach was to be considered final and acceptable for all. When the local residents approached my guru with the proposal to appoint a representative from the Gaudiya Math institution as chairman for the debate, he was very pleased and requested Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, whose birthday is today, to accept the chairmanship. In a humble manner, befitting a devotee, Srila Sridhar Maharaj accepted the proposal. In the meantime, my guru received a telegram from their godbrothers, from their guru, Srila Prabhupada, ordering him to come to Calcutta. When Srila Sridhar Maharaj heard about Prabhupada's message, he said to my guru, "Oh, Hayagriva Prabhu, I will not be able to accept the post of chairman for the debate if you are absent." So my guru replied, "Although Prabhupada will certainly be pleased if I were to leave now for Calcutta, as he has instructed, I firmly believe that he will be much more pleased to hear that the Gaudiya Mutt was awarded the chairmanship of the debate to be held in such a great assembly of dignitaries, even if it results in a slight delay in my reaching Calcutta." On the day of the debate, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj was formally appointed as chairman. In his opening address, he humbly said, "Although I am not qualified to hold the post of chairman, I have accepted the position in order to fulfill the instructions and desires of the devotees and the noble members of the society." When the debate started, Dr. Radhakrishnan spoke first and attempted to establish the superiority of God as impersonal. Afterward, when God is a person, Dr. Nagaraj Sharma was asked to establish his viewpoint. He began his address by saying, "Because devotees are humble by nature, they introduce themselves by saying, 'Dasosmi,' which means 'I am your servant.' But the impersonalists who don't believe that God is a person, being unable to appreciate such dignity in humility, are always eager to proudly introduce themselves. 'I am so-and-so.' In fact, 'Aham Brahmasmi,' I am that impersonal God." Indirectly referring to the humble conduct of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he then said, "Truly speaking, there is no need for devotees to exhibit their humility in all places and circumstances." After this, Dr. Nagaraj Sharma went on to establish his views of God as a person. At the end of the debate, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said in his concluding speech, the tension is building, in his concluding speech as chairman, "It is a fact that a person's pride, 'I am somebody,' becomes inflated when he associates with those lesser than himself. But such a false pride can never enter a person who always remains in the association of transcendental personalities. Just as a father naturally behaves as a senior in front of his son and as a junior in front of his own father, a person who associates with those who have attained the topmost perfection, pure love of God, pure love of Krishna, service to the Supreme Personality, no longer externally demonstrates humility by force. Rather, divine humility naturally manifests in his heart and is reflected in his conduct. But if a person associates with someone inferior to him, then pride is bound to arise in his heart. So being humble is not a mechanical process, but rather it's a natural byproduct of spiritual realization. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj has referred to himself, saying, I am more sinful than the two demons, Jagai and Madai, and I am even lower than a worm in the stool. The pious activities of that person who hears my name is completely destroyed. Anyone who utters my name, who says my name, actually commits a sin just by saying it. Who in this world but Nityananda, Nityananda is one of the forms of God, could show his mercy to such a vile person as me? And even though he's experiencing the topmost perfection, he's experiencing the ecstasies of direct association with Krishna, still he's thinking like that. So these are two opposite things, but somehow they harmonize in him. And then Srila Sridhar Maharaj continued, Srila Rupa Goswami, the foremost authority in the realm of devotion to Krishna, has expressed similar statements. Although I am a mine, a mine, like in a mine, of offenses, and although I cannot tell right from wrong, I still hope for your mercy, O Krishna. Please be merciful to me. And another one by Madhava Saraswati, another pure devotee poet. He wrote, some are inclined to Gyan. Gyan means knowledge collected just for impersonal liberation. In other words, speculative knowledge and knowledge acquired by the senses, which are imperfect. Like, I don't see God, so he must not exist. When the sun is outside before it comes into your house, if you say, I don't see the sun, you have to go out to the sun. I don't see the sun, so I don't think the sun exists. But how does the sun exist even before the sun is in your house? God forbid the sun would come in your house. It's here by the energy, because the sunlight is here. So similarly, by God's energy, he creates the whole material world. All the living beings are his spiritual energy covered by matter. So seeing how he operates, the sun comes up every day, goes down every night. The ocean, although it's so powerful, can only come up to this point at Miami Beach, not an inch further. Because Krishna says to it, I know you're powerful, but you can't go beyond this point. So by analysis, analyzing the humble expressions of such great personalities, one can clearly understand the actual position of the impersonalists as compared to that of the personalists. The former of the two groups possesses the self-conception that I personally am that qualityless God. A person bound by the ropes of Maya, or illusion, is a tiny, insignificant jiva. But when he is released from those bonds, he thinks he becomes God. Now I am God, so how did you get to where you are? Because God fell into illusion. If that's the case, then what is the meaning of being God? If he can fall into illusion, and if I am the one without a second impersonal God, then how does Maya or illusion come in as a second thing? Who is saying this? Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Oh, there was a debate between the ex-president of India, named Dr. Radhakrishnan, and a scholar, devotee, named Dr. Nagaraj Sharma. So they were having a debate, and they wanted a Gaudiya Mutt person to be the chairman. So Srila Bhakti Dwight Madhav Maharaj selected Srila Sridhar Maharaj. while members of the latter group conceive of themselves in the following manner. O Krishna, please be merciful to me and grant my prayer that you may remember me as a servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of your servant's servant. Very humble. Now so the debate was concluded with the devotees won. So the next section is called Exposing Imposters, as if this wasn't that. Once, Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj and his godbrother, Sri Svadikarananda Prabhu, who later became known as Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj, were preaching in Ambala on the order of their guru, Srila Prabhupada. There, they met the superintendent of the Ambala railway station, who repeatedly requested them to meet a so-called sadhu, proclaiming himself to be God. Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj explained to the superintendent of the railway that it is grossly improper to accept a mortal person as God. And his godbrother, also said, we do not have time to meet such people. We want to take all of our time and meet people who are going to help us advance in devotion, in spiritual life. Then Srila Sridhar Maharaj explained to the superintendent, we did that, although they had absolutely no interest in meeting an impostor, they relented and accompanied the superintendent to meet the so-called sadhu at the railway station. After arriving, Srila Sridhar Maharaj initiated the conversation by saying, please introduce yourself to us. So the so-called sadhu replied in English, I am Lord Krishna. I am Mohammed. I am Christ. I am Buddha. I am Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Sridhar Maharaj told him, you are speaking to a sensible person. Please speak accordingly. Hearing his words, the fraudulent sadhu became irritated and said, Joseph Stalin, the leader of the Soviet Union, is a dog to me. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of the United States of America, is a cat to me. Seeing their Gurudev becoming angry, his disciples asked Sridhar Maharaj, why are you upsetting the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The superintendent said, the Supreme Lord and his devotee are having a conversation. Don't interfere. Srila Sridhar Maharaj then asked the impostor, what is the cause of your irritation? And then, without being goaded or pressed, he right away gave the answer. I sacrificed so much for India's independence, but no one stepped forward to help me financially when my wife fell sick. In Delhi, she died as a result. Am I mad that I will continue to sacrifice my life for those who have done nothing to help me? A soldier who fought so diligently for their freedom, they have cheated me, and now it is my turn to cheat them. Being shocked to hear this, many of the impostor's prominent guests left, one by one. Srila Sridhar Maharaj turned to Svadikarananda Prabhu and said, those who discard the association of this wicked person will be saved. All others will be trapped. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, a recipient of Prabhupada's, his Guru's mercy, had an uncanny ability to identify impostors, uproot their deception, and expose their true nature to everyone. The next section is called Defending the Authenticity of Srimad Bhagavatam. Trisha, you see these books on the bottom shelf? It's a set of books. It's called Srimad Bhagavatam. It's we learned from our teachers that this is the essence of all the Vedic literatures. It's like the cream of the milk ocean of Vedic knowledge. So once a scholar told Srila Sridhar Maharaj, many people do not accept Srimad Bhagavatam among the authentic scriptures. Srila Vyasadeva manifested, and at least to some extent, their argument seems logical. He explained, a linguistic comparison between the Bhagavatam set of books and Vyasadeva's other scriptures reveals troubling dissimilarities. It is evident that the Bhagavatam's modern morphology contrasts with that of the ancient language used in Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva is the literary incarnation of Krishna. He came to this world to manifest all the ancient Vedic scriptures. Naturally, this leads many to question not only the era of the Bhagavatam's origin, which was 5,000 years ago, but its authenticity as well. What is your opinion on this? So Srila Sridhar Maharaj responded, and his response was extraordinary. Ready? Oh yes, he replied, his words dripping with sarcasm. Oh yes. Srimad Bhagavatam was certainly composed yesterday. It's very ancient. He then earnestly asked the scholar, is antiquity the sole factor by which a scripture's authenticity is to be assessed? Should we not assign greater value to the relative recent text, whose gravity and depth the other scriptures were written not long before, but before the Srimad Bhagavatam, because the others were written in a very cryptic way, very hard to understand. So this is his final work, Srimad Bhagavatam, to make everything easy and clear for the reader. Because now the age of Kali was coming. That started 5,000 years ago, the age of quarrel and hypocrisy, when men are starting to have but short lives, were lazy, misguided, unlucky, and always disturbed. So therefore, we need something for our level. And even then, the Bhagavatam cannot be understood by anyone who is not pure at heart. That's why we need Sri Guru to help us understand, to impregnate us with that understanding. So should we not assign greater value to a relatively recent text whose gravity and depth is far superior to the ancient texts against which it is being compared? Should the potency of the atom bomb, which is undisputably the deadliest and most powerful weapon ever created, be dismissed merely due to its recent invention? He continued, Srimad Bhagavatam is the butter churned from the devotional scriptures and Upanishads, which were written before. The date of its origin is irrelevant to the superiority of its depth. Whether ancient or composed yesterday, it remains far superior to the Upanishads. The Upanishads are also great books of wisdom, but they're not as clear as the Bhagavatam. That's why most people couldn't understand its depth. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, Sri Radharaman Bihari Jeev Ki Jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, a prominent personality in the Gaudiya lineage, has stated, the four Vedas, those were the first scriptures ever written. The four Vedas are like yogurt, and Srimad Bhagavatam is like butter. Sri Sukadeva Goswami, who, how would you call him? So he's Radharani's parrot in the spiritual world, and he came as the son of the literary incarnation Vyasadeva in this world, and he's the one who begins the speaking of Srimad Bhagavatam to a great king. So Sri Sukadeva Goswami churned that yogurt into butter. And Sri Pariksit Maharaj, who heard it, relished the result. Srila Sridhar Maharaj concluded, an unqualified person's inability to assess the true worth of an invaluable, although recently created object is a testament to his foolishness. An intelligent person, however, accepts apprenticeship at the feet of a learned mentor who can instill in him the ability to assess the object's value based on merit alone. And they're both written by the same person. They thought, these other challengers thought that because it's different from Vyasadeva's previous writings, it must not have been even written by him. But he's very smart, Vyasadeva, because he's the incarnation of books about the Supreme Personality and us and our relationship. So he knew that in this Kali Yuga, people would not be so smart, so they needed something more clear. And then the next group, the next subtitle is called On Knowing the Unknowable. That's a good one. Srila Sridhar Maharaj once preached in Bombay before the establishment of a Gaudiya Math there. Sri M.P. Engineer, the first Advocate General of independent India, was at that time the chairman of the Theosophical Society, and he invited Srila Sridhar Maharaj to speak at one of the society's gatherings. Because many speakers had been invited, each speaker was asked to keep his speech to a concise 15 minutes. What were they going to speak about? Didn't say yet. In his speech, Srila Sridhar Maharaj mentioned that the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is Advaya Gyan Pada Tattva. He's the one without a second absolute truth. There's nobody outside of him. Which means one cannot attain true knowledge about his supremacy simply by one's own endeavor, nor can he be made understood by anyone else. There's a nice verse that Srila Sridhar Maharaj quoted. Nayamatma pravachanena labhya na medhaya na bhuna shutena. The Supreme Soul can never be attained by one's mundane intelligence. By delivering sermons, like Gurudev said, the best class giver could be the most in Maya, or illusion. By delivering sermons, nor by extensively hearing about him, by sitting in class. Upon the conclusion of Srila Sridhar Maharaj's presentation, Sri MP Engineer posed a question to Maharaj before he could even take his seat. Maharaj, you have just professed that God is unknown and unknowable. If this is true, then for what purpose have you given up the material comforts of this world and accepted the renounced order of life, if not to attain him? This is the funny part. Srila Sridhar Maharaj immediately responded, the Lord can most certainly be known. Hearing this, MP Engineer good-humoredly said, I must admit that according to my vision, you do not appear to be a renunciate in the true sense, because you have instantly changed your stance on this matter, just like a lawyer. Remember how he changed his stance? God cannot be known. God can surely be known. Srila Sridhar Maharaj replied, this is the funny part, you had given me a time limit. I was able to express only one viewpoint of a highly profound subject matter. And the allocated time was over before I could mention the other viewpoint. Therefore, I could not complete the description of my desired subject matter in the allotted time. Hearing the words of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Sri MP Engineer said, you began explaining a highly insightful topic in a very beautiful way. Therefore, please complete your presentation on this subject matter. Srila Maharaj then went on to firmly establish the full proper Siddhanta. Although the Shastras mention that God is the non-dual absolute truth, it is mentioned in the same scriptures that he, the supreme absolute truth, does not possess the ability to make himself known to who he does not possess. He does not possess the ability to make himself known to whomever he desires. Oh, if he did not possess the ability to make himself known to whomever he desires, then his supremacy and his qualities of being limitless and infinite are immediately called into question. Therefore it is said, before he gave the first two lines of that verse, that you can't know him by being a teacher or a student of spiritual matters, teacher or a student or your intelligence. Now he's giving the last two lines, now that he had more time. Yame vaishashi renute tena labhyas tashai sa'atma virenute tanum swam. The Supreme Soul is attainable only by one upon whom he has bestowed his mercy. To such a person, he reveals his personal form. So Maharaj continued. In other words, it's impossible for one to gain knowledge about the Lord through one's own endeavor or through the help of someone on the same level as you. However, when the Supreme Lord observes in one the inclination to serve him under the guidance of his pure devotee, he imparts knowledge by which one can understand him either directly or through one of his associates. Atak Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grahamindriyai Sevan Makehi Jivado Swayameva Sparatyado Dada. The name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna cannot be perceived by the material senses, because the material senses are very limited. I can't even see the closest thing to me, namely my own eyelids. I can't even see through a piece of paper. And my telescopes, which were made by my imperfect senses, think that they can see the moon. So the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna cannot be perceived by the material senses. They become manifest. What becomes manifest? The name, fame, form, pastimes. They become manifest when one's senses, starting with the tongue, are permeated with the desire to render service, particularly in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, because that's simply asking for service. Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj, so I just want to mention here that it's very, very important for all of us as a big family to, every time there's a Harinam outdoors, to go together in that powerful family way and help as many people who are suffering in ignorance, as many people as possible. So, Srila Sridhar Maharaj's presentation had such a profound effect on MP Engineer that when Srila Prabhupada, the guru of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, later visited Bombay, he humbly requested Srila Prabhupada not to deprive the city's residents with his line of philosophical conceptions, and to establish the mutt there, Gaudiya Mutt temple. Later, as per the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, a property was rented in Bombay to establish the Gaudiya Mutt, from which the preaching of the Gaudiya line, that is, those who believe that Krishna or God is a person, and that he came again. Besides 5,000 years ago, he came 500 years ago in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to specifically teach the highest relationships that we can have with God. It doesn't have to be just as a faraway, humble servant. It doesn't have to be just as a friend, which is much higher. It doesn't have to be as a parent, which is still higher. It can be as a beloved. I remember when I just joined back in 1966, Prabhupada said that. You could even have that relation. Not that God is my father only, because what is the father supposed to do? Give me my daily bread. But Lord Chaitanya taught how to have God as a son, or God as a beloved, to serve. What did you say? Provide, right. So I guess that's it, because there's so many pages left, and we could go on for, I would say, another couple of hours. But as per our schedule, during this Kartik month, and you could always read this on your own. Will it be here or at the men's ashram?
I want here. Isn't this one ours? No, that one's from the men's ashram. I kind of want to keep it at the men's ashram because the last one disappeared from here, and that way we know like it's not going to disappear. So
Well, why don't we keep it here and label it, and when it reappears, we'll give it back to you.
I have a copy Vishrambar gifted me for my birthday at the ashram, so everybody can use that one, and that way it's
Great. Is that all right?
Thanks. Let's label all of our books,
Yes.
like the library.
Well, I had a
You asked, I didn't. I know that you'd be happy because that was to Guru Garanga, who you're wanting some advice from now. All right, so is that okay?
It wasn't an exchange. It made me happy because I knew it would make you happy and make him happy.
Oh, good. That's real happiness. A personal happiness is not real. It's a selfish happiness.
What am I
But a
gonna do,
happiness,
carry
huh?
it from temple to temple? You know,
Huh?
what am I gonna do? Just carry it from temple to temple?
Right. Okay, so what we do now, as I mentioned earlier, is we read from this book, Sri Damodarastakam, which is the pastimes of pastimes mean. Srila Bhakti began Bharati Goswami Maharaj. First, let me say, Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Tadiya Abhirabhav Titi Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Maha Mahotsav ki jai. So, now we're turning to Damodarastakam. We're on the second verse, which is pretty pitiful, since we're in the second week of a 4-week Kartik festival, and we're only up to chapter 2, and there are 8 chapters. So, I'll begin. Rudancham mahornetram yugmam rajantam karamboja yugmena satankanetram muhuswasakampa trirekampa kanta stitagraiva damo daram bhakti badam. Seeing the stick in his mother's hand. Oh, I forgot. So pastime, what does it mean, Krishna's pastimes? It means that it appears like even though he's God, and God isn't any age, or he never gets bound, he never has to climb a grinding mortar to steal butter that's hanging on the rafters of his mother's storeroom. So pastime means it appears like human activities, but it's the activities of the Lord. Appears like sweet, loving, human-like pastimes. Seeing the stick in his mother's hand, and fearful of being beaten, he is weeping incessantly and rubbing his eyes again and again with his 2 lotus-like hands. His eyes are extremely restless and filled with fear. He takes heavy breaths again and again that cause the pearls and other ornaments around his neck, which is marked with 3 gracefully curving lines, to tremble. O Damodar, you have been bound by your mother's motherly love. I offer my obeisances to that Damodar. The excellence of Krishna's extraordinary pastimes is depicted in this important verse of the Bhagavatam. Mother Yasoda watched as her naughty child cried bitterly and rubbed his eyes with both his hands. The black ointment around his eyes, which is called kajal, or what's it called in America? Mascara. Eyeliner. The black ointment from around his eyes mixed with his tears and spread everywhere. You can imagine black everywhere. Seeing her son with his eyes full of fear at the sight of the stick she was brandishing, Yasoda took him by the hand and began to gently reproach him in order to instill fear in him. In the stanza beginning with Rudrantam, Sri Satyavat Muni, who's the author of this poetry, fully captured the meaning in this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. In following with the second half of the previous stanza, he continues to establish his worshipful Lord's supremacy through the description of his unique pastimes. Appreciating the great pastime that is described in the above verse, he spoke the present stanza thus. When he saw his mother holding a stick, he became apprehensive, fearing that she would surely beat him. Even though fear itself fears Krishna. Krishna was afraid of his mother. But it's not the type of fear that we have here. It's a transcendental fear, which is full of ecstatic love, which is pervertedly reflected as a painful thing in this world as fear of somebody else. So he became apprehensive, fearing that she would surely beat him. Now he is hoping that by showing her how afraid he is, he could avoid being punished, using his childhood intelligence. So he cries bitterly, and he rubs his eyes again and again with both his lotus-like hands. His hands are called lotus-like because they're like a lotus, very beautiful. That he just keeps rubbing his eyes with both his hands is in keeping with the natural behavior of a child. And children here, I don't mean to insult anybody, I mean children are completely adorable, but still it's a perverted reflection of the wonder of Krishna's childhood. So there are different meanings. The first of these is that there are actual tears that instantly came from his eyes due to his fear. In order to make these tears fall from his eyes, he continually rubs them. The second alternative meaning is that continuous streams of tears are already flowing from his eyes. So he rubs his eyes with both hands to wipe away the tears. The meaning of the word satankanetram is that if even his eyes are expressing that he's afraid of being punished, his mind must be overwhelmed with fear. Otherwise, it may be taken to mean he is casting his glance in all directions because he is greatly agitated by fear. Again, it's real fear, but it's transcendental fear that's full of ecstatic love. Not the painful fear that's here. Moreover, because of his continuous crying and constant heavy sobs, the pearl necklace and other ornaments around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines, like a conch shell, are also trembling. Damodar, that is Krishna, baby Krishna, whose belly becomes bound by ropes. That's what Damodar means, that his belly is bound by ropes of his mother's love. Appeared thus. By this description, Sri Satyavat Muni, the author, has captured the meaning of another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Here's the other verse. Just as an ordinary mother in this world may bind her mischievous son, so Mother Yasoda, simply considering Krishna to be her son, even though all universes come from his abdomen, he came from the abdomen of his mother, just to have a loving relationship. She tied him to the grinding mortar with a rope, as if he were an ordinary child. The above verse mentions that the rope was knotted both at his belly, here there was a knot, and at the grinding mortar. Thus the sage has revealed Sri Krishna's unique supremacy by describing his desiring to please his devotees, his special quality by which he allows his devotees to control him. But when Mother Yasoda tried to bind him, she found that the rope was 2 inches too short. However, although it was 2 inches too short, in this way, each and every time she added another rope from her own house. Then she got all the ropes from the neighbor's house. They all donated their ropes. So you can imagine how many yards that was. But still, it was always 2 fingers too short. Still, she couldn't bind him. So her elderly gopis, her friends, who also have children who are Krishna's friends, they started giggling. I don't think fate has written on your forehead that you're meant to bind your son. And what did she say? She started turning different colors in her great attempt to bind her son. And she said, if I have to fast for a long, long time, he's my son, and I'm going to bind him because I have to teach him how to behave. And she was totally exhausted, covered with perspiration. The flowers woven into her hair fell down from her loosened braid, as you see here, and had scattered here and there. Seeing his mother's fatigue and feeling compassionate, little Krishna then allowed his mother to bind him. This entire universe, along with the powerful demigods who control the rain, the heat, the drought, is completely under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet, he has allowed himself to be bound in order to show that he's willing to be controlled by his devotees. That's Sri Krishna who bestows salvation upon all. Salvation means liberation from the bonds of birth and death. Never showed Lord Brahma, the supreme demigod, Lord Shiva, who assists with creation and destruction of the universe, or even his eternal consort, the goddess Lakshmi, the kindness he showed to this gopi. Gopi means cowherd maiden, Mother Yasoda. So Narada Muni, Krishna is saying, Narada Muni is my dear devotee. Therefore, even though these 2 brothers, the sons of the most wealthy demigod, there are, just like there are heads of state, heads of institutions, heads of companies, heads of families, so similarly, there are heads of universal functions such as rain, heat, drought, and there's also a universal treasurer named Kuvera. So there's 2 sons of Kuvera. They were big, major debauchees. And so they were cursed by the great sage Narada that, oh, you like to be naked in the lake with girls who are also naked, and you like to get intoxicated with them, then okay, I curse you to stand naked as a tree, as two twin trees, since you're brothers. And as soon as they heard this, they started becoming stiff like a tree. And so they begged him, please forgive us, we'll change, we promise. And he said, no, I can't retract my curse, but this curse is going to be a benediction, because anything coming from a pure devotee, whether it's in the form of a curse or a benediction, is always a benediction, because I'm cursing you to become trees in the courtyard of Krishna. And when he's just a couple of years old, he'll be pulling the grinding mortar, because he was tied to the grinding mortar, and so he was trying to get out of the house and go play with his friends. So his friends helped him by pushing the grinding mortar, pushing and pushing. Krishna was pulling, they were pushing, and it went in between these two trees, and it made the trees fall over on either side. And there was a giant crash. And Mother Yasoda, who tied him up, heard the crash, and she thought, is my son all right? What if I hurt him in some way? So she became like a stone. She couldn't even move. There's a whole other pastime about that. Anyway, so Krishna is thinking, as he's pulling and pushing and is with his friends, the grinding mortar, Krishna is thinking, so these two brothers, the sons of the wealthy demigod Kuvera, had no devotion for me. Still, I must fulfill Narada's words by appearing directly before them and granting them my devotional service. See how all merciful Krishna is. If you have the mercy of the pure devotee, then you have Krishna's mercy. Because he was pleased by Narada's devotion to him, indeed he enacts all of his pastimes because he's pleased with his devotees. This is yet another important meaning of the words in the verse, Bhakti Badam. He's bound by the devotion of his devotees. All right, so then that was the commentary of Srila Sanatana Goswami, who lived 500 years ago. And now our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, whose picture is this first one on this side of the big one. Here's him. On this day, Krishna, the personality who causes the three worlds to tremble merely by the movement of his eyebrows, has become overwhelmed by fear of his mother. Seeing the tiny stick in her hand, you can see it, he became trembling and stammers, "Mother, look, don't hit me. I did not break that pot of yogurt. That's why you shouldn't hit me, because I didn't even do it." He did do it, but he said, "I didn't do it." Mother Yasoda is slightly full-figured, like a little plump. As she was running to catch him when he was running away after breaking the pot of yogurt, her braid came undone, and the flowers woven in her hair began falling out. And this is as if the flowers were saying, "Mother, you're not alone. We're also with you," the flowers. Those devotees who make their hearts spotless by endlessly drinking the nectar of devotion to Krishna, imbued with extreme attachment and laced with renunciation or detachment from the world, attain a state of meditating on Krishna deep in their immaculate hearts. As Krishna was rubbing his eyes, he said, and he tried to actually, you know how if the mother is going to chastise you, you hide behind her? So that's what Krishna did. He cried out, "Mother, do not hit me." He did not look directly at her. He only looked fearfully at the stick. "You monkey friend," she said. "You thief." Chor. Chor is Hindi or Brajbasi language for thief. To this, Krishna replied, "Mother, there is no chor in my dynasty." Chor is also the name of a dynasty or a person. There's no chore in my dynasty. But I know there's a chore in your dynasty. "Oh, really?" she retorted. "If you did not steal the butter, then who was feeding the monkeys?" So he said, "Who has made the monkeys was feeding them." "Is that so? Well, tell me frankly, who broke the pot?" "Look, Mother, when you ran to save the milk, your large ankle bells hit the pot and it broke." "Well, then how did you get butter all over your face?" "Mother, the monkeys were eating the butter, so I was trying to scare them away. As they were running, they smeared butter all over my mouth." Hearing this exchange, all the gopis began to laugh. "I'm not about to set you free so easily," she said. "I'm going to tie you up." She was thinking, if I don't chastise him, he will become quite a troublemaker. With this in mind, she decided to bind him. "I will keep him tied up for a while, and when I have finished churning the yogurt, I will untie him and feed him butter and breast milk to calm him down." She considered, Krishna is a cunning and mischievous thief, and his accomplice is the grinding mortar. Both deserve to be punished. I will tie them together in such a way that Krishna cannot untie himself. So Krishna has contradictory qualities which meet harmoniously. Like Krishna, you heard earlier when discussing Srila Sridhar Maharaj's preaching, he's the supreme, one without a second, absolute truth. He is the truth. So at the same time, Mother Yasoda says, whenever there's a thievery or a lie in this village, you can know Krishna's ahead of it. They're both true. Finally, she had removed. How did that happen when so many robes from so many neighbors and it was always 2 inches too short? So how did she finally do it? She had removed the silk ribbon from her braid in order to bind Krishna with it. Other than the gold chain around his waist, Krishna was quite naked, 2.5, although his tiny waist measured no more than 12 fingers around. The ribbon could not be made to bind him. The ribbon? It didn't. It did. But actually it was the ribbon that bound him, not all of her robes. So there's an esoteric meaning here. The meaning is that 2 things are required to achieve the result in any activity. One is your endeavor. If you don't endeavor, then nothing will happen unless you're chanting Hare Krishna. At the beginning of the book, Journey of the Soul, Gurudev said, just try it. Sit down for 1 week and just chant and watch how Krishna takes care of you. So one is our endeavor. And the other finger represents the Lord's mercy. The endeavor, or the mercy, represents the cat and the kitten. The kitten doesn't have to do anything. It just lays there, and the mother cat bites him on the neck, and it's just skin, of course, and she carries him around. Whereas the baby monkey has to hold on tightly to the underneath belly of the mother. And if he falls, if he couldn't do it well enough, that's too bad. So that is the endeavor, and the Lord's mercy, like he did with his mother, he became compassionate and allowed her to bind him, is the mercy. So there are other philosophies like there's another sampradaya, the Ramanuja sampradaya. There are 4 bona fide lineages. So some of the members fight with some of the other members and say, it's the endeavor. No, it's the mercy. So the Gaudiya, that's our lineage, reconciles everything and says you need both. The following analogy is given to illustrate this stance. A person who has fallen into a well may cry, "Please help me, pull me out." Then from above, somebody may lower a rope into the well and say, "I'm lowering down a rope. Catch hold of it, and I will pull you out." However, if the person in the well doesn't catch hold of the rope, then just having the rope there isn't going to get him out. So the 2 things are necessary. So as I mentioned, Gurudev mentions it here, that the friends of Yasoda, we're going to stop in a couple of minutes so that we can do Guru Puja. The friends of the Yasoda just laughed. It seems like fate is not written on your forehead that you're going to find your son. So we have to do sadhana bhakti, following the regular principles of devotion, and at the same time pray for the Lord's mercy as we do in the songbook every day. Those bhajans are full of tattva, full of philosophical truths, and they have the power to change us. By singing those songs that we sing every day and simultaneously praying to the authors of the songs, that for me it's just words on a page. I have no feeling. Please merge your own feelings with my feelings, or rather merge my feelings with your feelings, and merge my feelings with your words. Let's see how many more pages there are for this particular chapter. Huh? Page 44 ends it. Well, then I'll just very quickly tell you that story that I said that's another story. So Mother Yasoda was shocked when she heard the trees fall. Did I kill my son? And she just became like a stone. So then what happened? Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's father, came running after he heard the deafening crash made when the massive, must have sounded like a nuclear bomb or something, deafening crash made when the massive Arjun trees fell. He saw his little boy, still tied up, standing between the fallen trees. And the these sons of the demigod Kuvera, when they immediately came out of the trees as beautiful, opulent demigods, and they started offering Krishna very beautiful prayers of glorification. And Krishna agreed. He said, "It is the unfailing result of seeing Narada, who cursed you, that even such rogues as the two of you are able to see me face to face, and the sum total of all the sins you have committed in your countless births has fled far away from you. May you attain ecstatic loving devotion to me." Now that's pretty amazing. That's why we pray to the pure devotees every day in the most beautiful songs. Let's see. So Nanda Baba ran to where the deafening sound came from. He said, "How did this happen?" Seeing Krishna standing in the middle of the two trees. In their broken language, the children, also 2.5 years old, "Baba, as soon as Krishna pulled the grinding mortar against the two trees, they fell over, and two very beautiful people came out. They looked like demigods. They folded their hands and offered prayers to Krishna. Then they circumambulated him and went north." But Nanda wasn't about to believe that happened to his ordinary son. He took Krishna on his lap. Krishna had been keeping silent till now, but as soon as he sat on his father's lap, he burst into tears and began to wail. When Nanda Baba and the cowherd boys saw Krishna crying, tears also started streaming from their own eyes. Nanda Baba pacified his darling son and untied the knot. The knot that bound Krishna was factually made of parental love, wasn't it? So therefore, his cowherd boyfriends couldn't untie the knot. It had to be untied by parents. When Mother Yasoda saw what had happened to her son, she couldn't move. She simply stood like a statue. She could not even cry. Nanda Baba made Krishna a little peaceful, calmed him down, and then gave him a sweet, what do you call a ladu? What kind of a sweet it is? Sweet ball is different. Ladu is made of chickpea flour and sweet things like sugar. A sweet ball is a milk product, I think. So he asked Krishna, "Tell me, who has tied you up?" "Mother," Krishna replied. Becoming silent, Nanda Baba then resolved to punish Mother Yasoda with the greatest punishment a loved one can give. For the entire remainder of the day, this is the greatest punishment. He didn't speak to her. Not a word. In a grave mood, he took Krishna and Balaram in his arms and went to bathe in one of the ponds. After everyone had bathed, he returned to them to the cowshed. Meanwhile, Mother Yasoda had become as dry and lifeless as a piece of dry wood. In the goshal, or cowshed, Nanda Baba filled Krishna and Balaram's bellies by giving them rock candy and squirting milk into their mouths directly from the cow's udders. When they came home, Mother Rohini, who was Balaram's mother, served them the food she had prepared, and Nanda, Krishna's father, silently fed the children. After they had finished, he took some himself. Then they returned to the cowshed. In the evening, another relative Nanda Baba's sister-in-law, along with Mother Rohini, Balaram's mother, and the other elder ladies of Braj. They all came. And Mother Rohini told Balaram, "Go now and bring Krishna." That day, however, Krishna had given Balaram such a push that he fell quite backwards. You know how kids play like that. Finally, Nanda's sister-in-law, Upananda's wife, and Mother Rohini spoke to little Krishna. "Look, Krishna," they said, "your mother is crying so much. Go to her." And he said, "No, I will not go." "Well, then come to me," Rohini said. But Kanai answered strongly, "No, I won't go near you. When Mother was tying me up, I called to you so loudly, but you didn't come. I won't even go near you." I didn't know that before today. "Well, with whom will you eat?" asked Mother Rohini. "With Father," he answered. "With whom will you play?" she said. "With Balaram." "But with whom will you sleep?" "With Father." Then Rohini said, "Until now, you have always slept next to your mother, but today you will sleep by your father? Your mother is crying for you." Then Nanda Baba said, "Should I beat your mother?" Upon hearing these words, Krishna stopped his father's raised hand. Then Rohini said, he didn't really mean it though, just playing with the boy. Then Rohini said, "And if mother suddenly dies?" She didn't say exactly dies, if mother suddenly. So then, as soon as Krishna heard this, he burst into loud sobs and ran into Mother Rohini's lap. She brought him to Mother Yasoda, and when she placed him on Yasoda's lap, Yasoda began to weep loudly. Before that, she was like a stone or a piece of dry wood. Then Krishna also cried. Nanda Baba's heart melted, and he also began to cry. Rohini and all the other residents of Braj who were gathered there also began to cry. This pastime is from Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu. It's one of the pastimes there. Weeping filled the entire atmosphere. Finally, the respected elders of Braj pacified everyone. That night, when it was time for dinner, Nanda Baba told little Krishna, "Go and bring your mother to me." Krishna immediately went and caught hold of mother's veil, and although she hesitated to go, Krishna brought her to Nanda Baba. She served dinner to everyone, and they all took their meal with great joy. Thereafter, Mother Yasoda took Krishna up in her arms and went to her bedroom. Gaur Premanandi, Damodarastakam ki jai, Kartik Brat ki jai, Kartik Brat Palan Kori Bhaktavinda ki jai, Gaur Premanandi. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo, Tagora Haribo, 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 Gaur Premanandi. Now we're going to have Guru Puja.
Rinesh Shakti had a question.
What?
Okay, Mother Yashoda, baby Krishna, the woman that's a gopi behind.
She's a friend of Mother Yasoda's age. And she's saying, "Oh, Yasoda, it seems like fate is not written on your forehead to bind your son."
Oh,
They're laughing and clapping and joking with her.
thank you.
So everyone is going to be given flower petals, and there are many gurus on the altar. So first, we do to our own Diksha, we offer flower petals to our own Diksha Guru, and then to, if there's a Shiksha Guru who's equal to your Diksha Guru, then to them, then to Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and then to everybody up the line, going that way.
If anybody needs a songbook, it's I think page 28, right? Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhakti Rakshita Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai.
Actually, give it to us when the pujari starts offering the flowers.
Where's Pujari? Pujari ji.
I'm Pujari ji him.
What about the
Oh yeah.
You can start. Samuki can bring him.
Okay.
Samuki, can you bring your guru? Can you bring your guru Maharaj? That's what we thought.
Yeah.
So it's wrong here?
No, it's right here.
Oh, it's right here. Yeah,
But it's wrong there. I thought maybe you
yeah.
just wanted to
Prabhupada.
reach that.
No, no, no. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Vakati Sarma Bando Mui Savadana Mate Jahara Prasade Pai E Baba Tori Te Jai Krishna Prapti Hoi Jaha Hoi Te Guru Mukha Padma Vaikya Chitete Koriya Kya Arana Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charana Rati Ese Utama Gati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Chakshudan Dilo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu Se Divya Gyan Hire Prakashito Prema Bhakti Chaha Hoite Avidya Vinasha Chate Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janana Bandhu Lokana Lokera Jivana Ha Prabhu Koro Jaya Teho More Parachaya Prabhu Koro Joya Deho More Padachaya Tua Padelo Inu Sharana Ebekash Kushuk Tribhuvana Shila Guru De Patita Pavana Shila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Bhakti Rakshak, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Bhakti Rakshak, Srila Sridhar Maharaj. Rakshak Srila Sridhar Maharaj Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gora Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gora Hari Bo. Nitai Gora Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Gora Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Kiva Jaya Om Jaya Gora Chandra. Now we're doing arti to Radha Krishna. Everyone else. Go arti time. Kiva Jaya Om Jaya Gora Chandra. Arati Kashoba. Oh, okay, time out. Sheila.
Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi.
Kiva Jaya Jaya Gora Chandra Arati Kashoba. Janavi Tatavane Jagamana Loba. Jagini Taita Manigadadhara. Ekate Advaita Srini Vasacha Chadara. Vasi Ache Gorachan Ratna Singhasane. Arati Korena Brahma Adi Devagane. Nara Hari Hari Kori Chamara Julaya. Sanjaya Mukunda Vasu Goshari Gaya. Shankar Bhaje Ganta Bhaje Baje Karatala. Madhura Mridanga Baje Paramarasala. Shanka Baje Ganta Baje Madhur 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 Baje. Shanka Baje Ganta Baje Madhur 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 Baje. Madhur Madhura Madhur Baje. Madhur 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 Baje. Haribo, 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 Nitai Gora Haribo. Koti Chandra Jini Vadana Ujwala. Mala Deshe Vana Mala Kore Jala Mala. Shiva Sukhanarada Preme Gara Gara. Akati Vinoda Teke Korara Sampara. Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milan. Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milan. Arati Karo He Lalitari Sakigan. Narana Mohana Rupa Chivanga Sundar. Itambara Siki Pucha Chura Manohar. Lalita Madhava Bame Vishabhanu Kanya. Ilavasana Gori Rupe Gune Danya. Nanavira Alanka Kore Jalamala. Harimana Vimohana Vadana Ujwa. Ishakari Saki Ganana Rage Gai. Yanama Saki Jata Chamara Dulaya. Chamara Dulaye. Chamara Dulaye. Jai Shri Radhe 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 Chamara Dulaye. Chamara Dulaye. Chamara Dulaye. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Jaya Shri Radhe. Shri Radha Madhava Parasarasi Jaya She. Vinoda Saki Pare Suke Bashe. Radhe 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 Govinda Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Gora Haribo. Jai Gora Premanande.
Jai Shri Shri Guru 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 Shri Radha Raman Bihari Ju ki jai. Om Vishnu Parastar to the Sat Shri Shrimati Shamrani Didi ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad. Astar to the Sat Shri Shrimati Srila Bhakti Vedanta. Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad. Astar to the Sat Shri Shrimati Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad. Astar to the Sat Shri Shrimati Srila Bhakti Rakshak Shridev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pad. Astar to the Sat Shri Shrimati Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Sorry, I'm way out of breath. Nichilila Pravishta Om Vishnu Parastar to the Sat Shri Shrimati Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada ki jai. Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Saptam Goswami Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Gaudiya Vedanta Charya Srila Baladev Vijayabhusha Prabhu ki jai. Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Chari ki jai. Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sat Goswami ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Shri Swarup Damodar Rai Ramdhari Gaur Parsada Vrinda ki jai. Shri Prem Se Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Antardip Mayapur Samantadip Majadip Kaladip Rutadip Janadip Mojum Drip Rudajidambika Shri Navadvip Dham ki jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwadasamanambika Braj Mandal ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kunda Gangi Yamuna Tulsi Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shrimati Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopashrama Devi ki jai. Sarva Vigna Vinashikari Shina Shringa Bhagavan ki jai. Bhakta Pravar Shri Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Charidam ki jai. Charya Chari ki jai. Chari Sampradaya ki jai. Agara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat ki jai. Kanta Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai. Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi.
Shri Shri Radha Raman Bihari